mean, St. Louis, if you look it up online, it's one of the most segregated cities in America.
We pay over 40% of the city budget for the school and for the police, and you hired trash.
My ex-husband is a school teacher. Year after year there's shootings, and it's like, when is it going to be his school and what's going to happen?
Shots fired!
And that's a terrible feeling.
The city didn't see any need to really develop that area because it's the area where Black and brown people live.
Just boom, 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 boom. I watched the blood in him cool to be undifferentiated.
Many people always say that, Hurricane Katrina was like a natural disaster, but it was very unnatural in its impact and like in its follow-up.
That week alone, before killing St. John God, 8 people died. They died like in my arms because I had no more Narcan.
No te tratan como persona, te tratan simplemente como un negocio. Simplemente somos un objeto para poder obtener dinero.
Nueva York, lo único que tiene de Walt Disney es que la mamá de Mickey te pasa por los pies.
My name is Edward Buckles, Jr. I'm the director, co-writer, and producer of Katrina Babies. There are things that I saw, after the storm, and there are things that I experienced after the storm, and even during the storm. It kind of equipped me with everything that I needed to be able to tell this story. Many people always say that, Hurricane Katrina was like a natural disaster, but it was very unnatural in its impact and like in its follow-up, in its recovery. If you look at any archival footage from 2005, I don't think it's a coincidence that it's all Black and disenfranchised people who you see dead in the streets, who you see on their roofs waving for help, who you see, in the Superdome or like on the bridge for 3 days. I don't think it's a coincidence that you don't see many white people. Hurricane Katrina was another example of racism plagues America and how resource allocation. Not only did we experience racism and our classism during the storm, but in its recovery, in its after effect. People always say that New Orleans is rebuilt, but was it really rebuilt for us? Us not being asked how we felt, or no one checking on us, or us experiencing Hurricane Katrina and no one ever asking, what do you need? I remember being 13 during the storm, and I remember as soon as the storm hit, I got back in school in this new place. I was uprooted, as all of us were, and most of us went to school right after the storm, and there was no therapy, there was no counseling. When I hear other children who come from wealthy neighborhoods, or who come from like the suburbs, and who are white, and when I hear their experience is not like that. I hear how they had therapy and how people came to their aid, and even, like the fact that they got out early. It was growing up in a city that, just felt like it was not ready for its people to come back, but more specifically, it was not ready to, be a place for children. We are the murder capital of the US. Crime increased. The age ranges of those who are committing the crimes and like those who are murdering, but also like the age ranges of those who are being murdered. They're all Katrina babies. They're all young people, right? Most of them are young people who are like, involved in this. These kids are like dealing with PTSD. They're dealing with fight or flight. They're dealing with sadness and like so many other things, but then also they're dealing with gentrification, where like they're being, combined in other neighborhoods that they rival. What we experienced in Katrina wasn't just unfair, it was unjust because we should have been protected. We pay taxes here, you know what I'm saying? We live here, we're from here, right? So, it's unjust that we had to experience that and that we were not, protected properly. I think that the system has constantly prove to us that like they're not gonna, you know, be proactive about like what we need. One of the problems is the fact that, you know, the conversation of racism is sensitive. Like, I don't think that it should be sensitive because like when it's happening, it's right in our faces. It's not just one problem. And like, it's because we've let it go unaddressed for so long and now everything is just surfacing. It's like all of the floodwaters are gone, but like the trauma that's surfacing and like the impact of Hurricane Katrina is still very present. And like when I say very present, I mean like right now. I mean things that are gonna happen tomorrow are things that were impacted by Hurricane Katrina. If you don't address a trauma within like a large group of, you know, people, in our case, Black children, what do you think is gonna happen? We're gonna have many more generations of people who are being impacted by a storm that they may have not even experienced. Like, think about it. Like, you know, some of my students in the film, they were only 1 year old. Some of them were in their mother's bellies during the storm, right? So why are they still being impacted by Hurricane Katrina? And it's because it's been unaddressed. And it's because it's been like, you know, unaddressed when it comes to Black and disenfranchised people.